Everyone, this is Calvin, the Groovy Guppy. I'm in the middle of my new fish room. It's really not a fish room yet. It's just in the early stages of development. I got one tank here, and well, I got a mess, and tanks getting ready, and more tanks coming in, and anyway, it's a mess. But I have this 90-gallon behind me. And I have some other tanks that are having some issues with some snails. I was at a fish auction. Yes, they make fish auctions. And bought some plants a few months ago. And now all my tanks are covered in snails. Anyway, snails aren't bad for your tank. They're actually somewhat good. They eat the waste food, the excess food, which you shouldn't be giving them, but you sometimes do that. And they do a little cleaning. But they also are a bio mass, and they can get out of control. There could be thousands of snails in your tank. It's just like another living organism, so you can't have that many in there. And this tank has a lot of them in there. Well, I've tried all the different snail traps, and they all work to their own degree, but they cost money, and they're pretty chintzy built, most of them. But I've looked at the DIY guys, and all of them have pretty much the same concept. And I'm going to modify my concept a little bit because I have a problem with guppies. Now my guppies swim into the trap and can't get out. Well, then they're under stress for however many hours that trap's in there for. And I've worked out a system, so my trap's a little different than everybody else's, that if you have small fish that tend to swim in there, this gives them a way out, and an easy way out, and the snails pretty much stay in there, and it works pretty well for me. So I'm going to show you how it's done, and those of you who are looking for snail traps, you've already seen this. Take a bottle, water bottle preferably, so it doesn't have any chemical in it. I've already rinsed this out. I don't need a label, razor blade. This is my only tool I need for the whole project. Label, gone. Okay, got a bottle like so, and I'm going to cut it. I'm actually going to cut it just a little further back here, so when this slides in, it locks it a little bit. If you cut it up here too short, this thing doesn't stay up there very good. So if you're doing this, make sure you cut this down a little bit, where you have enough straight edge where it can go in there and have a fairly secure connection, because you're going to turn this around and stick it inside there. Now I'm cutting this off thing there. That way, if I cut my finger and bleed all over, I don't have to put a violent content on my video here. Okay, got it cut off. I did set up a trap the other day and forgot to take the lid off. Lid comes off, guys. Snails get into the lid. And you'd simply take your snail trap, your base here. Now, I mentioned I get guppies in here. They swim right in here. And within 5 minutes of me putting that in that tank, I'm going to have guppies in here. So what I now am doing is I take cut a little 1 by 1 inch or so square hole right at the top of this thing, right at the back end. Okay. And cut a little access hole. But they never seem to swim out the tube of the thing. They always get in there and panic around me. I'm going to just cut a little hole. And, I don't reuse these bottles too often because the snails seem to release a hormone or something, and if you have to use it a few times, they stop doing it. But anyway, now I'm going to push this bottle up in there, and now I got something like this with a hole up here at the top. Okay, can you see that? I got the bottle stuck up in here, it's nice and firm, and a little hole up at the top. Well, that hole at the top has got several uses, so I'm going to stand up here, go to my fish tank, and I'm going to take a couple of rocks out of here, and I got a lot of snails in here, right? Take a couple of rocks, or some substrate, whichever. I'm going to put it in my hole. Holding my hole up. I'm going to take a little bait. So you can use zucchini, you can use cucumber. I'm going to use algae wafers. And I'm going to put a couple of them in there. I have a lot of snails in this tank. They've exploded on me. Then go like that. Okay? Got them in there. Now your hole's on top. I'm going to take that. I'm going to simply set it in my tank. Like that, and leave it in there. Usually within a few hours it's full. Now, if the guppies swim in there, they can get out. They don't get under any stress. If the cories get in there, the shrimp, they're still stupid. They stay in there. But, you know, the snails go in there, and they'll pile in there, and, you know, snails move a little slower. So even when I pick up the bottle, I just keep that hole on top, and there we go. I catch a whole bunch of snails. Now, once you caught your snails, don't flush them down the toilet or throw them in the garbage. They may not be native to your area, whatever kind of snail. You may have Malaysian trumpets or whatever other kind you're trying to get rid of that is not native to your area. And if you release them into your water system, they may take over your water system. So what most people do, the most humane way seems to be, put them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer for a few days, let them die, then throw them out. Don't release them into your native area. They may not be native to your area, so you don't want to start an invasive species. That's how some of these invasive species started. They started as somebody's pets. You know, they have all kind of problems with pythons down in Florida and things like that weren't native, and people released them, and now they've got anaconda, I guess it is, one of the snakes down there, and now they got 15-foot snakes going around eating the kids or something. I don't know. But anyway, set my tank up, and I hope that helps keep you in the groove with your fish tank, and you all have a great day. Check out my website. It's growing. I got it back online. For those of you who don't know, my hosting company went out of business and all my files went away without mentioning that they were doing that. So I'm starting all over. Anyway, have a great day.